I'm here with Kevin Hudson, the Customer Experience Manager for Northumbrian Water and Northumbrian Water Kielder. Kevin, could you please tell us a little bit about your role?
Yeah, my role in Northumbrian Water, Northumbrian Water itself is predominantly a business who provides water and wastewater services for the North East. What we do as part of that service is we take advantage of our reservoir sites to deliver a leisure operation. Up at Kielder we have 32 luxury lodge cabins, we have a 100-pitch caravan park, we have 2 restaurant facilities, we have 2 retail facilities, we have swimming pools, we have activities, and around the wider park there's lots of walks and cycle trails. My role is I have a responsibility for product and customer experience right across all of our leisure sites, and specifically at Kielder I have operational responsibility for all the team up there and also for the product.
So as a young person who wants to gain employment in Northumberland, what can your company offer? I'm sure there's a great deal.
We offer various different roles at various different levels, from a food and beverage assistant right up to a managerial position. So we do rangers, we do retail assistants, we do food and beverage operations, we do activities assistants, we've got managerial posts, so it's quite a wide variety of different roles that we offer.
And not to mention the events, of course, because there are different events. We've just heard about the zombie run.
Yes.
Through there. Quite exciting.
Yeah, park-wise we get involved with support and lots of the other partners as well on delivering events, and then as an organisation we do our specific, what I would call, isolation events that we deliver ourselves as well.
Mm-hmm. And how important are specific qualifications, would you say?
Qualifications are important. They don't, if you haven't got qualifications, I won't say they stop you from getting a role, but what I will say is within Northumbrian Water, all our jobs go through a job grading system, and that's linked to the qualifications that's required for those posts. However, that shouldn't deter people, because individuals need to think about what life experience they can gain that might give them some of those skills and needs for those jobs. So it might not necessarily be a vocational qualification, it might be some of those skills that you've done, whether you've gone out and done some volunteering or things like that. Some of our roles will not require a high vocational qualification to get one of those roles.
Are there opportunities for young people to progress within the company once they're in?
Yeah, a long time ago I was quite a young person, and it feels a very long time ago. But I started my career actually as a civil engineer, even though I'm working in the leisure industry now. And I was a trainee, so I stopped on at school. I did my GCSEs, I didn't do great. And then I stopped on at school and did my A-levels, and then I got a role. I actually at that point in time didn't really know what I wanted to do as a career. I then got a job with the local authority. Wasn't really sure what that was. I wasn't one of these people that had a sort of determined career path. And I worked as a trainee as a local authority as a civil engineer started there when I was 19. And then we worked as agents for Northumbrian Water, and I was there for 4 years. They put me through, I had to go back to college and do an O.N.C, and then I did an HNC at Northumbrian University, and then I transferred to Northumbrian Water, and then I've had, I think I was counting the other day, about 11 different roles in Northumbrian Water, which have all helped me step up to where I want to be. And from sort of my perspective, personal development is very key within Northumbrian Water, so it's not all just about taking that sort of career progression from a job opportunity perspective. You also need to think, how can you develop those skills as you go along? As an organisation, we support individuals to do secondments in other areas of the business, so people will leave their actual job and go and work somewhere else for 6 months or a year. Or also, what we might do is we might give some individuals some project work, which is outside their normal job, but will give them some skills and experience that will support them to move on in their career. And I'm nearly 40 now. We don't really want to admit that, but last year I just finished a 3-year B.A. degree course in leadership and management, so the organisation will offer you that support. But the key point I'd say about any personal development is down to the individual. It's about the individual to take control of it.
What would you say are the benefits of being based in the area that you're based in?
Throughout my career I've had to work in various different areas. I've worked in London for weeks or a few days here and there. One of the beautiful things about Northumberland is the drive to work. It's a really beautiful place, and it's one of those things that you don't always appreciate. And I always say to people, when you go on holiday, you go and you find these places and you go and look. Actually, when you live somewhere, you don't necessarily go out and look and see that area. And Northumberland is a beautiful place, and it also attracts, I can say this from a leisure perspective, it also attracts some really nice people and customers to the area, and that's the what is the USP of Northumberland? USP of Northumberland is the environment for me and the people.
Is there anything new and exciting happening at Kielder? For instance, the dark skies thing that's in talks at the minute.
Yeah, I think, I mean, just business in general, and this is any business, is sometimes people have the concept that once you're successful as part of a business, and that's where you stop. But actually, I always challenge people to say, well, actually, do you ever get, if you're going on a journey from A to B, do you actually ever get to B? Because what you do is you start to reinvent the next stage and the next step of where you want to go before you actually get to B. That's quite a challenge for people, but that's what motivates people, that's what keeps people going. And even if you're at the top, and I'm sure you heard people have mentioned Kielder Water in Forest Park, won the visitor attraction of the year for England this year, is what you find in those environments is your competition is always catching up with you, so you've always got to grow your business and you've always got to develop as an individual to keep up with that competition. So the way my job was 2 years ago will be very different now because we change things on a regular cycle.
And how do you support the local community?
We work with the local community to make sure that what we're trying to do from a development perspective doesn't impact on what our classes their social environment. So we work closely with those to make sure what we're doing brings benefit. We also, as an organisation, bringing people into the community also brings economic development within the community and also helps support create new jobs and employment opportunities. So while we might not necessarily employ some additional staff, another business might have been set off the back of something we have done, and that then creates more employment from that side of things. Also, as an organisation, we allow every employee to have 12 hours of their time, which they get paid for from the organisation, to go and support with community-based projects, and that's called our Just an Hour scheme.
How do you engage with young people? You don't know much about the company.
Through various different techniques, really. I mean, there's two sides of things. The young people in the North East or outside the North East, some of those will be our future employees, and we would like to think we're a good business to work for, so we want to attract those people. But also those people, individuals, might be our customers of the future in the North East. So we engage through various different things. We do lots of work with schools, and I've already talked about community groups, etc., that we work with, and that's just one of the avenues that we do. The environment's changing dramatically. iPods, iPhones, social media, etc., are all things that the younger generation are interested in, and us older generations struggle with at times. So we're having to adjust our style to make sure that we're communicating with the future.
What advice would you give to a young person who's thinking about starting their own business?
Any young person that's starting their own business needs to seek whatever support and advice they can. There's a lot of support and advice out there for young people. They need to take ownership of that. Nobody's going to come to them and say, I hear you want to start a business, have you thought about this? They need to go and try and get as much support as they can and extract as much information as they can. One thing I've learned over my career is there's a lot of people with a lot of knowledge, and if you can extract that knowledge out of them, that supports you as an individual. So whether that's a business advisor at your local bank, or whether that's some entrepreneur group that can support you, or a local business member, a neighbour who's a member of the business community, go and seek that advice.
And Kevin, if I were a young person who was thinking about going for a career with Northumbrian Water or Northumbrian Water Kielder, what would you say to me? I would say it would be a fantastic opportunity. I've worked with the company. I've been employed by the company for 20 years, so I think that speaks volumes. I wouldn't be sitting here. I'm quite an ambitious person. I wouldn't be sitting here now if I didn't feel the company offered me exciting opportunities as an individual. And like all things, there's benefits that come along with that, which the company support you with. So I think it's an excellent organisation to work for. And what would the first step be to learn more about it? The first step would be, I mean, it depends on how you want to engage with the organisation, but if you were coming for a role, let's say you were coming for a job interview with the organisation, the first thing I would do is learn as much as you can about the organisation. You can do that through websites, you can do that through visiting sites, and in my day when I went for my first interview, you couldn't just look on the website and read all about an organisation. It was very difficult, whereas now it's very easy. And from an employer's perspective, if you've got someone coming in the interview and you ask them what do they know about the organisation and they give a bit of a blank response, it sort of brings a challenge in your head about what research have they done, how much are they committed to the organisation, and what do they want out of it, basically. Do you think Northumbria is a good place for someone to start a business? Absolutely. I think
you've got to have the right product, and you've got to understand your product, and you've got to understand what the marketplace is for your product as well, and who your customer's going to be. If you can find a product and a customer base, and it matches Northumberland, I think it's an excellent place.
What makes you passionate about what you do?
This is a surprise. It's not the product, okay? I think I said I was an engineer, and I've been in various different things, delivering different products. The passionate thing for me is people, and while you've got to have a successful business, otherwise it wouldn't exist, is I get great satisfaction at supporting individuals, and then looking at those individuals in the future and feeling that I had a little bit to play in supporting them to get where they wanted to in their career. It's a difficult world out there at the moment, and one of the most difficult things to do when you're first starting out your career is when you go into that interview, demonstrate that you've got the skills for the role, because as an employer that's what you're looking for. There's no hidden agenda or tricks in interview processes. Basically, we write a job description and a job advert which describes the individual that we want to employ. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what we want out of it. When we come to do an interview process, we're looking for someone to demonstrate that they've got the skills that's highlighted in that job description or that job advert. And if you can demonstrate you've got those skills, then that's one foot in the door. And that's what I was saying earlier on. It might not necessarily be through vocational qualifications. And some people, what I would say, I've interviewed younger people in the past, and sometimes because they work for their dad, answering the phones in a taxi rank, etc., that's just working for their dad. That's not seen as work, but actually the skills that you would get from that are all around getting information correct, good customer service skills, and they're all skills that people don't always recognise. Or if you can't get those skills in a work environment, go out and do some volunteering, or go and be a member of a team if you're looking for teamwork. Think about what those key areas are and how you're going to demonstrate you can deliver those.
Kevin, thank you very much.
Thank you.